What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the second video in the Road to 1000 series here on the Checkmate Beach Chess YouTube channel. Today we are going to be looking at 5 games from yesterday from the Improvers Group under 1200 rated tournament. It's a 5-game tournament, 10 minutes, 2-second increment. The starting rating for this video will be 851. So let's go ahead and jump into the first game. The first game here, opponent plays e4 to start, which means we respond with the Caro-Kann defense. Pretty standard opening. Nothing pretty remarkable in this game for quite a while. Looks like every Caro-Kann game mostly. We have white castles. a5, create some space on the queen side, trying to push down the board there. Start developing the bishop, relieve the pin on the knight. With the enemy bishop, we continue to develop here, h6 to kick the bishop away, which is what happens. Trade the bishops. Again, just more trades. Nothing quite too exciting here. We're pretty even through 18 moves. Castle here, get to safety. Fight for the open file. He replies with rook to c1. We trade knight and bishop, and here we trade down the rooks to make it more simple. Trade the knights, leading to this eventual queen trade here. Again, nothing too crazy in this game at all, just pretty level. Here my idea was to start to move the king over, to get away from that f6 pawn for any weird like back rank stuff, with the enemy rook in case I moved my rook to a place that I couldn't get back for defense. Yeah, and I just kind of wanted to start to centralize my king eventually, which is what starts to happen here. Take the pawn on c6. He takes the pawn on b4, allowing me to get to the middle, which apparently was not good, even though I've always just been told to centralize your king when there's no queens on the board. So that's what I tried to do. From here, he moves his king to d3, which gives me a chance to play this great move, which is the only move in the position. And of course, when you find the only move in the position on the previous move, you blunder the game away immediately. Which is what happens. We trade the rooks, and he is eventually going to promote. He is going to eat all of my pawns, and he is going to checkmate me. I probably should have won this game, or at least not thrown it away. I could have potentially tried to force a draw back here instead of playing rook to c5. I could have played rook g3 and then just started giving checks. Tried to force perpetual maybe until he moved over here, or just tried to figure out a better solution. Especially with so much more time on the clock. I had 45 seconds at this point, and he had 19. I should have taken a second to try and come up with a better plan, but it is what it is. We lost that one. Let's go to game 2. Game 2, we played a little bit weaker opponent. He was rated 491. In this game, kind of a sloppy game, starting with d4, looking to set up the Jobava London. When the opponent plays d6, you cannot play the Jobava London anymore. It doesn't work. From here, we end up in the Pirc defense. I don't enjoy this position. I don't typically find it fun and don't win a lot. Pretty standard. Lots of misses in this game. Trade. This leads to winning a rook, which was nice. Got a little bit of an advantage here. Immediately blunder the game. Opponent doesn't take control of that blunder. Take the knight. Trade. Oh yes, just move the queen to safety. Trade the rook down for the bishop. Another blunder. I think I was just pawn hunting at this point. I don't know. This game was not good, but was never really in danger of losing the game, so I didn't feel like it was a bad move at the time. Attack the queen, lose the pawn, and then from here it's pretty much just going to lead to a forced mate. Give some checks, win some pawns, and then sliding this rook to e1, pinning this pawn to the king. From here, all we have to do is to dodge the checks, and then eventually, once the checks dry up, it's mate in 1. So we got a win there. Kind of an ugly game. Nothing spectacular. Didn't play particularly well. Probably could have won this game a lot sooner. And we will move to the third game. Third game was quite interesting. It was a game we tried to both lose. Eventually, we have another Caro-Kann. We trade off on d5. Develop the knights, develop the bishops. Here was a mouse slip. Grabbed the wrong piece, so I guess technically not a mouse slip. But e6 was definitely the move I wanted to play, and not bishop e6, because bishop e6 is a blunder and it doesn't really do anything besides trade down bishops, and then you lose your other bishop and trade it for the knight. Yeah, I don't really know what that was. That was I don't know. Vegas brain, maybe? I don't know. So we go here. He gives checks. We block with the knight. More checks. Block with the rook. Here I offered a queen trade. He did not take it at that time. But we trade off there. And at this point, I'm down huge in the game, down 5 points of material. Trade some more material off, which is what you're always supposed to do when you're down a boatload of material. Please don't do that. That is not the right way to do it. So here we are left with 3 pawns versus 7 pawns, and each with a rook. I should have had no chance to ever get back into this game. But you will see that is eventually what starts to happen. Because here I could have kicked the king away and then just won the rook, which is not what happens. Instead, tried to win some pawns. I have a chance to do it again, and instead I take another pawn, because why not take the pawns when you can win a rook instead. But eventually we end up in a very similar position to the last one, where now I can do it again, and this time I do it. And now I have a very large advantage, because now I can pick up this pawn, which is threatening promotion. I do pick up this pawn that's threatening promotion. And then from here is when I realize I need to study rook in games more, because in a second here, I throw the entire game away again. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know if my idea was to somehow win the pawns. I don't know how I thought I was going to win both of the pawns in this position. It didn't really make sense. And yes, and then I tried to throw away the game one more time, and he tries to throw away the game one more time. We shuffle kings around, and then here, yes, here is not a great move, and we end up eventually allowing a promotion. And he takes my pawn, tries to run his pawn down the side of the board. At this point, he skewers himself, which is just a gift. And from here, this game ends as it can only end, in a draw, because no one deserved to win this game because we both played terribly and tried to give this one away. So this one ends in a draw against a much higher rated opponent. So I did pick up some rating points in this game, which was good. So we will go ahead and move to the fourth game. Fourth game, the opponent started with d4, and I respond with the Dutch defense, which we have not played yet in this series, which I do typically enjoy playing. I have a decent one, right? It's 48%. It could be better. Still improving in it, but it does lead to a lot of good positions for me, I feel like, generally. So I do play it quite often in response to d4 from my opponent. Pretty standard development for the opening. Here I offer a trade. I end up taking the trade. And when he doesn't move his queen on this move, easy pin, king and queen. Doesn't get any simpler than that. Yeah. He takes the bishop. I take back with the knight. Build a huge advantage here because now I'm going to win the rook. From here, just trading down some more, trying to make the game simpler. We trade knights. Here I made it a little bit more difficult on myself probably, but was never really in danger. I didn't feel like with the rook pair versus the bishop pair, especially when I was going to eventually just start to trade one of the rooks for a bishop, which is eventually what ends up happening a little bit here. I believe it is right here. Trade down, light squared bishop versus a rook. Put all your pieces on dark squares. Now the bishop can't do anything. It has absolutely no targets. The only pawn on a light square is over here. Not really doing anything. So wasn't really super concerned about it. And eventually just working on getting these two pawns on the right side of the board and the A and B pawns. Working on getting those down the board. Moving the pawn to A2, threatening promotion. He takes. I take the bishop. Promote the B pawn. Eat all the pawns. Simplify down to queen and king endgame. And just walk him down to the back rank and deliver checkmate. Pretty good game. Probably the best game I played in the tournament, even with that queen. Giving away the queen. It just felt easier if I was just going to do rooks versus bishops. So I was comfortable giving away the queen in that case. So that takes us to our last game against 877 rated opponent, which is I think the closest rated opponent. Yeah, this guy was 100 or 1113. 1032, 491, and 1114. So this is the closest as far as rating goes. Here I played the Jobava London. And with the f5 move to the light squared bishop for the opponent, I always respond with f3 for the pawn storm. Setting another pin here on the g5 square to the pinning the knight and the queen. And yeah, opponent blunders his queen away. And from there, huge advantage. Never let him back in the game. Never allow him on the attack in the game at all. His pieces have nowhere to go. This is covered. He can't really come over here and take the knight because the rook on d1 is there. He has nowhere to really go. and just ultimately kind of smothered him out. Mate and 6 from here. This time I do not let him out and pick up the win. So my biggest takeaways from this tournament, definitely need to study rook in games more. I probably could have picked up 2 wins or at least salvaged another draw out of the first game, potentially maybe even winning the 3rd game. With these events, I do enjoy them because it gives you the chance to play higher rated opponents, which I like because I can get more rating from them, picking up wins, and then my rating's not affected as much with a loss. And I just think it's better to challenge yourself against a higher rated opponent occasionally. And yeah, I just typically enjoy it more. And another takeaway from this tournament, I found myself not getting into a lot of time trouble. I was never super up against the clock, which I feel like has been a problem for me recently. So I was really happy with that. I ended up with 3.5 points for the event. I finished 8th out of the 25 who finished all 5 games, which is my best placement in this event. And yeah, it was a good result. At the end of this event, my rating was 875. So we picked up 24 rating? Yeah, 24 rating from this event. So we are getting closer to getting back to that 900 number and eventually the 920 number, which is my highest rating ever. So hopefully we can keep the momentum rolling here. And if you enjoyed the video, please like the video. Please comment. Please comment. Subscribe to the channel. I'm going to start doing some more live streams soon. So yeah, thank you, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.